Welcome everybody to another episode of Meet the Expert. In this case, we're doing a little subsection of Meet the Author. I am super excited to be here today with Melissa Palmer, who just released, yes I am super excited to be with you.
Thank you.
Who just released, was it the third book on the IT?
Third book in the IT Architect series.
Foundation, the IT Architect Foundation or just IT Architect?
So the series is called the IT Architect series.
Okay.
The first book was Foundation in the Art of Infrastructure Design.
Right.
The second book, written by Damon Burr, was Designing Risk. And the third book is IT Architect series, The Journey, a guidebook for anyone interested in IT architecture, written by yours truly.
Yes. I was super excited. I asked her to bring a book so you could see it, but she just released it in time for VMworld.
I did, like literally, I shipped it to someone's house in Vegas, and it got here 2 days before I did.
God,
it was that close.
Good, good. I'm definitely going to get my copy and get it signed. But Melissa, I want to do a little feature on you, so please introduce yourself. First of all, who are you?
So my name is Melissa Palmer. You can find me on Twitter at vmiss33. I became a VMware certified design expert in November of this year, VCDX 236, and that was really exciting for me. My career history and my interests are basically IT architecture, and I've always been fascinated with infrastructure, but like especially the whole stack. So it was never enough for me to do like one little piece here and there. I love virtualization, right? I love virtualization, so that's one of the reasons I went for VCDX, to kind of prove that full stack architecture knowledge.
Right. And tell me about where did the idea for the book, which is a book I'm very personally invested in because I am in my journey and I want to be a VCDX one day.
So it's really funny. Speaking of the journey, John Arsheed and Mark Gabrielski, they kind of own the series, right? And Mark reached out for me the week before my VCDX defense, right? And he's like, have you ever thought of writing a book? And I'm like, absolutely, I have. Yes. I always wanted to, but I'm about to go defend VCDX, so can we wait a little bit on this? He's like, yeah. Let me know when you're done. So I actually, when I got my number, what's the first thing you do? You tweet it. You tweet on VCDX 236 and you go write a blog post, right? So I went and wrote a blog post and I called it like The Journey, and I kind of talked a little bit about like what it took to get me where I am today. And when we started talking, he's like, you know, that blog post was really good. You could make a book out of that. And I'm like, you're right, I can. And that's kind of where the idea came from.
And I've been reading your blog since 2014, and I do remember you specifically saying this is also a way to practice my writing skills.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
it's so funny when your interest, the interest, you know, the hunger and the opportunity come along, and you're just like, this is perfect for me right now.
It just came to me. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, tell us a little about the book. How is it organized? Is it a very personal book? What are we in for?
So I keep on telling everybody this, and I refuse to reveal it. You're gonna have to look at it in the book. I guess eventually I'll say it. I didn't always want to be a virtualization architect. There was a different type of architect.
I know you love everything space, right? So,
So, but if we're talking about technology, there's another type of technology architect I thought I was going to be. Like I was like ready, like I'm going to be this. And I found virtualization, it kind of derailed me. So I talk a little bit about that and how I got there. But most of the book is kind of my experience and how I figured out how to learn different things, different ways of learning, different ideas on how to gain different types of knowledge, right? Because we're all worried about, oh, I need to know all my technical knowledge, my virtualization, my CPU, networking, all that kind of stuff. What about the soft skills? What about writing, gathering requirements? What about dealing with procurement, right? You want to be an IT architect. People might have to buy something from some vendors, and how do you even do that? So it's really about everything you need to know to be an IT architect. And I also put a big emphasis on a self-assessment, right? So like when you start this journey, be honest. If you don't know something about something, that's okay. You just have to admit it to yourself.
So you can fix it.
So you can fix it and go learn it. And I actually have a section in the book for a whole self-assessment workbook. And you don't have to show it to everybody, but it's really important that you do it so you know what you're starting from.
This is excellent. Because one of the things I found, and you and I were studying for DCD back in 2014 in the Google
back
groups.
in the day, right?
But I found that from DCD to VCDX,
it's a huge jump.
It's it's a huge. It's kind of the same theory, but it's not.
So DCD starts you thinking in the right mindset, right? So most people, when we're doing DCD, we're kind of starting to make that first jump from engineer to architect. From I'm going to use vSphere HA to make sure everything works, to my customer needs availability, and that's why I'm going to use vSphere HA, right? So we're starting to make that jump, and DCD is a great way to start making that jump, but the jump from VCD VCDX is nothing like you've ever experienced before.
Yeah.
One of the things that really helped me is like I just started architecting everything, right? So like be like, what am I going to have for dinner? Let me write out my requirements, my constraints, my assumptions, my risks, and it sounds so silly, but you just have to get yourself in that mindset and in that thinking.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you haven't mentioned this at all, but you started VDM around the time that you did your DCD.
Yes, you're right. I kind of forgot that.
No, because I remember that you said, listen, this is a great way to us for practice.
So we started Virtual Design Master. I joined the team. I don't even remember what year, but we just finished season 5. I started with them in season 1, but I really joined the team in season 2. And that was a good way. It's all, different architecture challenges to get people into that mindset with a crazy zombie story around it too. Because I don't know, I feel very strongly that we need to get everybody thinking out of the box, and it helps. And by adding space and zombies and all that stuff, it makes you think differently, and you're going to start coming up with things you never saw possible.
You're famous in the VDM because your challenges
My challenges are so evil.
But coming up with those challenges has to
I should write a novel around Virtual Design Master. Like, really, I could do that.
But coming up with those challenges is also part of your own practice.
And it's helped me grow as an architect too. Like I'm gonna be honest, I ate my own dog food, and I went and did all these challenges that I made other people do too, and that helped me as an architect a lot.
That's awesome. Anything else about the book you want to tell us before we leave?
Anything else I want to tell you? It's really for everybody, right? If you know you want to be an IT architect, it's for you. But if anybody's watching this and you're like, I think maybe I want to go down the IT architect path in the future, but I'm not sure yet, it's a great resource to get you started in understanding what IT architects do. If you already are an IT architect, I talk about, putting it into practice. So I talk about, different jobs and some career advice, certifications, continued learning, all that kind of stuff. And the book is really, it's the journey and the lessons in this book. I try to end every chapter with some kind of non-technical lesson, like a lesson that's going to help you in life. So there's all sorts of tidbits about setting goals and time management and making the best out of a bad situation and stuff like that too. So there's really something for everyone in it, and I hope it helps. I hope it makes you think differently, and I hope it helps you in your journey.
So it really is a dump of who Melissa is today.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
It's excellent.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, really.
Thank you.